analyze all these other things in my life. And one of the logical conclusions was a sort of skeptical optimism about the future. You know, if you're a believer, you kind of tend to think, well, I'm going to die and then I'll probably go to heaven, or everything's going to be fine anyways. If God really, you know, if things got too bad, God would probably stop in or drop in and fix things up or whatever. Or there's this kind of really optimistic somebody or technology will come in and step in and fix things. But then when I became an atheist, I realized, well, are these attitudes really justified?
Some atheists are looking for, I've heard atheists who really look for technology to save them. I mean, they haven't come to grasp their mortality. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, I hope there's some kind of invention where we can download our brains and live forever.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And as a Star Trek fan, that kind of thing creeps me out.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I think there's going to be a machine consciousness, but I think it's going to be different than a biology consciousness.
Well, yeah. Actually, I was listening to this on a different podcast. It was talking about
not just different, but superior. So anyway, go ahead.
If you're writing a contract, and rather than there being a person on the other side of the table who's going to sign it, there's a machine. Is there any circumstance where you would actually want to go through with that contract if the machine is the one signing it? If you write up a contract, buy a house.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other side of the table is not a person that you can hold liable, but a robot.
Yeah.
You know, are you more likely to go through and say, hey, I do want to go through with this?
You know what? That kind of is already happening. I heard about this the other day. They have supercomputers that are trading stocks right now.
That's different.
But let me explain that. This one fund manager, they have billions of dollars, and these computers are making trades without the approval of the people. And so the people are saying, like, yeah, they basically are trusting these computers to make these trades. They are not approving the trades. The computers are making the trades.
It's based on an algorithm.
I know, but they're doing it automatically.
Right. So but when it comes down to it, if there's a bad trade, the fund manager is the one that's going to be responsible.
Probably. I mean, what are they?
But what if you go to a investment company and all they've got is supercomputers? There's not a person in charge.
Well, there might be a manager still. There's a fund manager.
Right, well, there's going to have to be
manager.
Maintenance of the computers. Are you willing to
there's
trust
a
computer?
There's a president of the company too, right? He's ultimately responsible.
Right, but yeah. So, but the hypothetical scenario that I'm trying to set up is if there isn't a human, that ultimately there's some kind of liability that can fall on. Would you ever trust?
No, the liability
fully?
does fall on the company though, because like if there's a president at the top, the computer you make the deal with the computer, the president never sees it. The computer makes the decisions.
Right.
And he manages it, right?
Right. Okay. And then what if the computer is the one that messes up? The president pays for it.
Sure, yeah, they pay for it, but
then what if the president's another computer?
Someday it's going to be there. That's what I think. I think it's going to happen. I mean,
I don't know.
You got to think about 1,000 years ahead, 10,000 years. Look at the trend of technology over 100 years. Then extrapolate out 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1 million years. We might be on Earth as humans for 100 million years. Can you imagine the technology curve a million years from now? I mean, it's crazy.
And the thing that the guy in the podcast that I was listening to brought up was that it might not ever, that it's a different situation if you've got a computer on the other side of the table making a deal with you, because they don't have skin in the game.
Okay,
you've got all these experiences, all these assets that you've built up over the course of your life, and if they're staked on a contract and the thing signing it is mechanical, there's a difference of what people are bringing to the table. That's why he said that he doesn't foresee technology as there's a big moral dilemma there.
Okay, well, check this out. Let's say, for example, the computer like Watson, he can win at Jeopardy. You got the Google car can drive itself. You got Deep Blue that can play chess. Okay, so those are 3 apps you can roll into one. Let's say you get 100 more apps. So you get this computer that can think of all this stuff. Okay, now somewhere at some time, you have these companies like Intel and Microsoft. Somewhere at some time, some company says we're going to be run by a computer. If they're run by a computer and they are more successful, another company will also say we've got to use a computer too because we can't compete here. They have a computer for a CEO and we can't. So at some point, CEOs are going to, bubble up to computers, and we're going to want the president because we're going to have mayors who are computers. Sooner or later, humans are going to be subservient to computers. That's the way I see it, especially a million years from now.
All right. Well, this conversation took a little more of an Asimov turn than I was planning, but I do like me some Asimov. We're going to take a little break, listen to the KPSU promos and ads for